This video is for e-commerce managers, digital marketing managers, or anyone in marketing at a Shopify store that is focused on driving conversion rate. This is all about website optimization and the solution to explosive conversion growth without your developer. The goal is to achieve a 10 to 20% conversion increase in 6 months. So who are you? You are responsible for e-commerce on a store built on top of Shopify. Your top focus is driving conversion on your website. That is literally what you think about every single day. The key metrics you're being measured on are conversion rate, AOV, and revenue. Secondary metrics you're worried about are add to cart rate and cart abandonment rate. You are extremely focused this year on ways you can drive conversion wins. It is time to get to work. There is no more time to waste. Your team, you have at least another marketer on your team. It's not just you, thank God. And you are wearing a lot of hats across all aspects of marketing, from email to SMS, ads, social, and more. You either have an in-house developer who is super busy and hard to engage in marketing projects, or you have an outsourced part-time developer, but you're always looking for ways to be more self-sufficient without having to get your developer involved. Your Shopify store is either apparel and fashion, CPG like food and bev, health and wellness, beauty and cosmetics, or home goods. You are very focused on your Shopify and D2C channel, even if it's not your only channel as a business. Maybe you're also selling on Amazon or in retail. Your business has at least $2 million in annual revenue, and you're looking to grow to 5, 10, 15, or even 20 million this year. You have 25,000 monthly site visitors or more. Tech stack, you are likely using Klaviyo for your ESP. If you're not using Klaviyo, you're using Attentive or Sendlane. You feel pretty good about the state of Klaviyo. You have all of your core flows set up around welcome flow, abandoned cart flow. You have some pretty good segments built out and a pretty solid email list, but you feel like you have a lot more that you could be doing with all of that data. Upsells, you are either currently using a sophisticated upsell solution like Rebuy or Nosto. You have experimented with other apps in the Shopify App Store to try to increase AOV. Loyalty, you are either doing a rewards or loyalty program. If you are, and you're using either Loyalty Line, Yotpo, or Smile, but haven't quite figured out how to really use that for conversion rate on your site. Quiz, if relevant, you have a quiz on your site, maybe through Octane or a custom-built quiz that's capturing data about your site visitor preferences and then recommending products accordingly. All that data is getting sent back into your ESP, but again, you're not really using it for conversion on your site outside of the initial flow. Subscription, if you are offering products on subscription, you're using either Recharge, Skio, or Stay. You're always looking to increase the percentage of site visitors who are subscribed because of the extremely positive impact it has on your LTV. Your product catalog, you sell a medium to large product catalog of between 50 and 4,000 products that require a lot of merchandising and different messaging. You have a product catalog that is either really large and really difficult for your customers to navigate because of the sheer number of products to search. This is an example of Sanrio's Hello Kitty, really large product catalog and a lot of different characters to be able to browse and find the right product. The other example would be any apparel and fashion brand. Obviously, a lot of products to navigate across men's and women's, jeans and tops, and seeing how all of those products might pair well together, or which ones would be the best fit for you. The other example is if you have a product catalog that requires a lot of product education and really the need for calling out unique selling points because you have a lot of competitors. This would be for any space that is really competitive. The example would be Chomps, which sells beef jerky. That's a product that is very competitive and there's a lot of need for differentiation. You might also be competing on things like price. And so there is more of that need for differentiating your brand, differentiating your products, and really calling out your unique selling points. The other example would be in a space like health and wellness, obviously a ton of competition in things like health and wellness and supplements. You are limited inside of your Shopify theme editor, and you either recently completed a redesign of your website in the last year, or you are planning on redesigning soon, most of which was probably designed based off best guess and maybe a few A/B test experiments. You wish you could make changes to your site and test their impact more frequently, but feel blocked by your limited developer resources. You're probably just technical enough to be dangerous, but you've been warned not to mess up anything in your Shopify theme. So you shy away from making big edits to your site unless they're absolutely necessary. That makes it difficult to do the merchandising and personalization that you need to do in order to help your customers navigate this either large or complex product catalog. You'd love to improve your on-site merchandising around recommended upsells and cross-sells, products that could be bundled together, more intelligent badging on your collection page. So for example, it doesn't say new on every single product on the new page, and even things like calling out USPs on your product page. Your product page in particular gets you excited because it's super stale and hasn't had much innovation. You feel like there's a lot of opportunity for you to drive conversion wins there. You dream up new ideas all the time on how you could improve your on-site funnel, but most of your ideas, unfortunately, never come to life because of the need to prove ROI before actually investing resources into it. It's that classic chicken and the egg scenario. You wish you could be more self-sufficient on site changes, but man, it is so hard to accomplish inside of Shopify. You have dreams of changes you can make to your site, like maybe showing a different experience to a loyal customer versus a new customer, but how would you actually bring that to life within your current resources? In the meantime, you and your team unfortunately keep resorting to promotions and offers to drive sales. Maybe if we just run this sale, we'll fix our revenue problems, ? Now your customers are trained to look for discounts. You know it's not the best strategy for your brand long term, but you have to keep running promos because you need more revenue. Half the time you're running a promo, it feels like everything's on fire. Someone in leadership came up with a promo last minute and it seems like it was communicated to everyone but you. Not sure how that is the case. The website is always the last to be considered, and now you're scrambling to make sure the promo or offer is clear on your site. You're limited in your options to get it live on site without a developer, and you don't want to break anything before you have a huge spike in traffic. So you jump to change the messaging in your top bar inside of your theme and turn on some badges on your collection page, all super, manual and easy for you to get in there and do, but not super impactful. Yet again, it was last minute and you sigh that you'll probably have no idea how it all worked. You are seriously feeling the pressure from the top to grow conversion rate. Your conversion rate is between 1% and 3%, and you'd be really happy growing it by 10 to 20% because it would mean an additional, let's say, $20,000 to $200,000 in additional monthly revenue for your Shopify store. If your conversion rate is higher, let's say you're between 3 and 6%, you really just want to figure out how to maintain that conversion rate with your new traffic because your new traffic tends to not convert as well as your old traffic and your repeat customers. You're feeling a lot of pressure from your boss to grow or maintain conversion rate, and you're having a particularly hard time growing within the current state of the market. You're feeling discouraged by inflation, rising interest rates, increased consumer spending, major bank failures, and big tech layoffs. It's a super hard time right now. Layoffs have flooded the market with talent, but hiring has cooled off. And businesses are really just trying to make it to the next round of funding or get profitable fast. Higher costs and the current macro recessionary climate have really hurt demand. So margins are compressed and you're feeling it on your revenue. These factors are stressing your business and forcing you to adapt. As a result, businesses have to either recruit or invent new technology in order to achieve profits for the same offers at pre-pandemic prices, or adapt their price to 3 times that of the pre-pandemic if they keep the same cost structure. The most savvy, which can be you, are using this as an opportunity to both increase price and increase margin faster than their competitors to completely dominate the market now and in the future. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. If the bear market has you shook, get out of the game. A bear market should excite you. It's all about reframing your perspective here. Many empires were built during major recessions and cashed out in the bull markets that followed. You know, and everyone tells you that A/B testing and experiments on your site will be absolutely key during these difficult times. Every move you make needs to be measured, and you need real-time visibility into its impact on your key metrics. Maybe you used to use Google Optimize before it sunset back in October, and now you're left without a great A/B testing solution. You may have tried or are currently using a more technical A/B testing solution like BWO, Optimizely, or A/B Tasty, but your developer is using it to test big structural changes to your site like navigation changes, collection page layout changes, and button placement like a sticky add to cart that don't really feel enough to get the job done. You need a solution that you can be using every day on your own, self-sufficient, to try new things and really keep up with the speed of your ideas. You have tons of ideas around how you could be increasing conversion on site through messaging, but feel limited by your ability to do so inside of Shopify without getting your developer involved. Now for an introduction on me and on Because. So I'm Ashland. I'm the founder and CEO of Because. My dad sat me down when I was about 7 years old and said, I'm going to teach you what daddy does. He pulled out an easel and a permanent marker literally from our playroom, and he wrote the word entrepreneur. That was my first lesson in entrepreneurship, and I caught the entrepreneurial bug from there. I was the kid that was literally running around the playground being like, I'm going to be a CEO. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And my friends were like, we're going to be doctors or firefighters, jobs that they actually understood. And no one had any grasp of what this concept of being an entrepreneur was like. So obviously very non-traditional childhood. From there, I launched Because in the middle of Black Friday during 2020. That was impeccable timing. And we are a solution to help you turn your static Shopify site into a dynamic conversion machine. We're a software as a service platform built on top of Shopify that helps you to create and A/B test your e-commerce websites and ultimately increase your conversion by 23%. The goal here is to really help you increase your conversion without the need for getting your developers involved, and really take back the ability to be self-sufficient on your site. Over 1,000 Shopify merchants use Because today, like Tom Brady's brand TB12, Sanrio's Hello Kitty, Duke Cannon, Echelon, and Chomps. So you are definitely in good company if you decide to give us a try. Here's what we believe. We believe that each site visitor should have a unique experience on site based off of the first-party data that you already have available to you in your current tech stack, whether that be Klaviyo, Attentive, Recharge, Skio, Stay, Loyalty Line, Yapo, Smile, Octane, and obviously Shopify. Our solution is totally no code, which means you do not need your developer ever. And we're completely connected into your data. We're plugged into your first party data in a seamless editor and rules engine experience that allows you to change text and image-based content throughout your entire e-commerce site, from your homepage to your collection page to your product page and into your cart. We support both slide out cart as well as full screen cart, and seamlessly integrate into the Rebuy smart cart. The ultimate goal is to show the highest converting possible messaging across badges, banners, bars, images, text blocks, essentially any text or image-based content across your e-commerce site. With all of that content, you can power dozens of different use cases across promotions, offers, dynamic shipping, reviews, unique selling points, low stock and urgency, cross-sells, upsells, bundles, BOGOs, gift with purchase. There's so many acronyms in e-commerce, but all the acronyms and more, all with all of your own defined rules. I'll show you examples as I continue the next couple minutes here of every single type of content we support and what this all looks like on all of these sites. But ultimately, we support that entire pre-purchase journey, all of your text and image-based content, and we use all the data you already have available to you to do it. When I say we, I mean you, because it is all easy to use on your own and you do not need to get a developer or a designer involved. Our rules engine powers a broad set of data types, including cart data, like the dollar value of the cart as your site visitor is moving around and shopping, the contents of the cart, UTM data to detect things like source of if they're coming from social or influencers, ads or affiliates. We detect geolocation for things like countries and states. And we also integrate directly into Klaviyo to be able to detect site visitor campaign and flow based off of cookie. I'll chat more about that in a second. If you are using a different ESP than Klaviyo, we do have the ability to integrate via UTM parameters. We do also have future integrations coming to more ESPs soon. This is an example of our user-defined rules engine. So this is probably familiar to something you've used in the past on other rules engines. It's an if this, then that type of experience. I like to say it's like you're playing Mad Libs. So if you remember playing Mad Libs as a kid, where you just kind of fill in the blanks to create a sentence, the same concept goes here, where you can show content on your site like a banner or a badge based off if the rules are true. So you basically just fill in your rules to say like the banner will show if the Klaviyo segment is, and then you select from a drop-down menu of all of your Klaviyo segments. You can also incorporate all of your other data here, like product data, tags and collections, cart data, site visitor data, all of it together into one rules engine. I'm going to walk you through all of the examples of each of our rule types and some of the use cases that merchants are using for each of these rule types today. So on the product rule type classification, we have all of the data coming directly from Shopify. We're integrated into your Shopify data around product tags, collections, inventory stock, product description keywords. So we can even go down to the keywords in your description to be able to target products. We integrate into weight if that's relevant, vendor name, SKU, all of the above. Inventory stock, of course, for being able to drive like urgency messaging throughout your site. Now let's go through a few examples of content that's powered based off all this product data. So one of the really popular use cases is displaying reviews on your product page based off of product tag or collection. These are dynamic reviews that will change across different products. So for example, you could display a review across an entire set of products in a collection. You could display a review across an entire set of products based off product tag. The goal here is to really be able to get more strategic around which review you're highlighting above the fold on your product page so that your site visitors have what they need to make their purchase decision. The other key goal here is to give you data on how all this is performing so you can A/B test different reviews against each other, see which copy is most effective, and A/B test against a blank control group in order to see if you are driving incremental lift from adding the review to your product page. The next example I have for you is around cross-sells. So you can cross-sell and upsell products across all of your pages of the site. This is just an example for your product page. You can do more of like a text-based cross-sell where you're just hyperlinking over to a product page. You could also do more of an image-based cross-sell where you have the image of the product and you're either hyperlinking them over to that other page, or you just have an add to cart button to go ahead and add that item to cart right from that page. The goal here is to give you the ability to add more messaging around which cross-sells and upsells might be most relevant for the product that site visitor is on. So rather than traditional upsells and cross-sells that literally just have the name of the product, the price, and add to cart, you have the ability to actually incorporate more messaging into that experience to educate site visitors on which products pair well together, share specifications of whether the product fits the right size if you're trying to pair them together. Really just try to like get them across the finish line around messaging that will really help them to understand which products actually do go together versus just like randomly suggesting products. The other cool part about our upsells and cross-sells is that these are all powered by you and your data. So this isn't some random algorithm that is wrong most of the time. This is actually powered by you and your data, powered by your marketing team to provide the most relevant upsells and cross-sells possible. The next example I have for you is around badges. So this also uses all of your product data. We can support badges on your collection page. You can also do this on your product page to really be able to call out important features about your product. Things like if it's a staff pick, or if you want to call out that it's new or low stock, selling fast, any type of experiment that you want to do around badging. The goal here is to take over your static badges that you would typically use inside of your theme and make this a more dynamic experience that is powered by all of your product data. These are all A/B testable, so you can actually understand how they're performing, and they're super customizable. So inside of our editor, which is kind of like a Canva experience, you can edit all of the ideas around design, copy, colors, even the shape to really get it looking and feeling how you'd like rather than feeling limited inside of your Shopify theme. The next set of data we have available is all of our site visitor data. So we have site visitor data associated with geolocation, UTM parameters, new site visitors, like how many times that they've been back to the site. And you can use all of this to power a number of different content types based off of data about your site visitors. The first example I have for you is around UTM-based campaigns. So this is an example on Chomps where they had a influencer on social media sending site visitors to their site. They have a UTM in their URL and they're detecting where they're coming from. Here, you can actually personalize the page that the site visitor is landing on to feel like a connected experience. So rather than that influencer sending a site visitor to just your normal site or even to like a custom built landing page, instead what you're doing is you're sending them to your product pages and collection pages that already exist on your site, but you're taking that content over and making it personalized to that site visitor based off that UTM parameter. So if we detect that they have that UTM parameter in their URL, we will personalize that experience. This one has an example of actually the picture of the influencer, so you can kind of like tell that you're in the right place. You can also use all of our UTM-based rules in order to do image testing. So if you wanted to set up an image on your like homepage hero or on your product page that's associated with the ad that the site visitor is arriving from or social campaign they're arriving from, you can actually adapt the image that the site visitor is seeing to make it more connected to where they're coming from. We can also do geolocation targeting. So this is really popular for any shipping messaging. If you have different shipping to different audiences based off either state or country, you can use our geolocation targeting to tell the site visitor how long shipping might take, shipping estimates, shipping cutoff dates, especially around the holidays, which is what Hello Kitty Sanrio did here. You can also do this based off of shipping cost if there are different shipping costs between, like, let's say the US and EU. The next rule type is our cart rule. So we have access to all of the information about your site visitor's cart. As they're moving throughout their shopping experience, we can use all of this data to power different types of dynamic content across your site. We have access to what products are in cart, the dollar value of the cart, currency of cart, number of items in cart, as well as bundles. And we can use all of this data to power a number of different content types. The first example I have for you here is upsells to unlock free shipping. So for example, this would be detecting the dollar amount that is in the cart or whatever other currency you're working in, and tell the site visitor how close they are to unlocking free shipping, even tell them what item to add to cart to unlock. So let's say that your free shipping is $100, they're $25 away. You want to try to push them to a product that's around that range to help them cross the finish line, rather than just saying, you're X dollars away from free shipping. Let's actually give the site visitor what they need to cross that threshold. The next example is all of our rules-based data for all of the integrated data that's coming from the rest of your tech stack. So I already mentioned we do integrate into the Rebuy Smart Cart. So if you do have the Smart Cart, we seamlessly integrate into that. We do also integrate into ESPs like Klaviyo and Attentive, loyalty platforms like Loyalty Lion and Yotpo, and then also subscription platforms like Recharge, Stay, Skio, all the above, and then obviously Octane on the quiz side. All of this data today is being powered via either UTM parameters or via our Klaviyo integration. UTM parameters allows us to detect whatever source that site visitor is coming from. So for example, if they're coming from an email campaign or an SMS campaign, continue that campaign onto the site. For Klaviyo data, this is extremely powerful because we're actually using the Klaviyo cookie on site to identify who the site visitor is without them being logged in and without them being part of an email campaign. So anyone comes to your site, as long as they have an active Klaviyo cookie, we know who they are, and we can then tap into Klaviyo segments, campaigns, and flows to be able to serve them the appropriate messaging across site. This is definitely one of our most unique offerings, and we're the only personalization platform that actually does support this today. Across all of the Klaviyo segments, here's a ton of examples of types of Klaviyo segments you could use across never purchased. So anyone that's coming to your site that is subscribed to your newsletter but is not yet a purchaser, they might want to see their welcome discount code surfaced on site. That's definitely an option. Anyone that's abandoned cart recently, to be able to drive an urgency message, knowing whether they are or are not a subscriber to your email or SMS list to prompt a sign up. We've actually seen that our email signups that are done through more embedded content on your site rather than pop-up content drive a much higher opt-in rate. So one of our customers recently drove a 67% opt-in rate on one of their welcome signups in a top bar on site that was only targeted to site visitors who are not yet signed up for the newsletter. We can also personalize based off of loyalty data. So if you have any segments inside of Klaviyo of what tier the site visitor is on, so let's say like silver tier, gold tier, platinum tier, when a site visitor comes to site, we can tell what tier they're on, and we can then personalize the entire on-site experience according to their loyalty. So if they are part of the loyalty program, let's tell them like, welcome back, silver member. If they're not part of the loyalty program, let's prompt them to go ahead and sign in or sign up for it. And then we could even prompt them to sign in before they check out. We can also use quiz data. So if you have quiz data about your site visitors' preferences, we can use that data to then drive personalized experiences on site, whether that be like a badge on your collection page that says picked for you, whether that be a recommendation in cart based off what products might be most relevant to them, or even using that data to change imagery. So let's say like we know their skin type and we want to change the imagery on site to be associated with their skin type. So here's some visual examples of all of this. This is the example of that welcome offer to a never purchase segment. So being able to really surface that welcome offer so that they can take advantage of it versus making them go back in their email to remember what that code was. We can also do dynamic promotions. This is a really cool way to optimize for profitability. So if a site visitor is coming to site and let's say they do or do not need a discount, maybe they're a loyal customer, they were planning on purchasing anyways, maybe you don't give them a discount, maybe a brand new site visitor does need a higher discount, they're more unfamiliar with your brand, you can actually do targeted discounts and offers to different segments. This is really popular during times like Black Friday, where you don't want to run a site-wide sale to everyone. You want to do more tiered discounts based off of different types of site visitors. That is something you can do with Because. We can also do that welcome sign up I talked about that has a 67% opt-in rate. So being able to really surface the welcome sign up a little bit later in the customer journey. So the site visitor's already X'd out of the pop-up. They're wishing that they could bring the pop-up back to get that welcome code and go ahead and sign up. This is an option of a more embedded experience in a top bar or a banner on, let's say, the collection page or the product page to continue pushing the site visitor to sign up for the newsletter. We can also do personalization based off subscription. So if you're using Recharge or Skio or Stay, you can use all of that data inside of Klaviyo to set up segments, and then you can show messaging on site based off of those segments. So you could say, like, I want to show this if the site visitor is an active subscriber to get them to go ahead and log in. If they're not an active subscriber, maybe we show the prompts throughout site to tell them about the discounts and benefits of actually becoming a subscriber. The last example I have for you here is around loyalty. So if a site visitor is coming to site and they are part of the loyalty tier, go ahead and tell them, welcome back, silver member, maybe even like talk about their points threshold and really get them to move to log in and just drive more of that retention with those repeat customers. The last example here is around Klaviyo flows and campaigns. So you can integrate into Klaviyo welcome flows, abandoned cart flows. If someone's coming on site from, let's say, an abandoned cart flow, you could show them an urgency message to say items in your cart are selling fast. This one, for example, drove a 19% conversion increase and almost a full 2% point increase on conversion rate. So just a simple message based on abandoned cart flow that drove maximum impact. Klaviyo campaigns, you can continue the messaging from a Klaviyo campaign onto site. So if a site visitor is coming from like a sale or a new product launch, you can continue that messaging straight onto the page that they're landing on. So let's say that you sent out an email about your Christmas in July campaign. When they get on site, you can continue that messaging, maybe even surface the discount code to go ahead and get them to convert. Now that we've covered all of the potential use cases for because on your site, you need to measure it, right? So that's where our A/B testing functionality comes in. Our A/B testing functionality allows you to quickly A/B test and understand the impact of all of these dynamic messaging changes you're making across your site. There's two different ways that our A/B testing works. The first is the ability to test one campaign versus another. For example, two different sets of copy, two different designs, two different icons, really testing which one converts better. The other option is to test against a blank control group. This is a really popular method when you're first getting started with the platform and you're looking to prove the incremental impact of adding because into your site. What it does is it basically shows the campaign to 50% of the traffic or whatever split you choose, and then it shows nothing to the other 50%. So that's essentially like a before and after type picture of what it looks like to add because into your site or what it looks like to add that new message into your site. You can choose whatever split you'd like. So if you want to change it from 50-50 to 75-25, you have tons of options on that. You can see the real-time impact in your A/B testing dashboard to see how all of your ideas are impacting things like conversion rate, add to cart rate, AOV, and revenue. I'm not going to say whose dashboard this is, but this is an actual real customer dashboard. You can see obviously the impact across your cumulative data here. So seeing the impact across all of the A/B tests that you've run, things like total impact on conversion rate. This customer saw an 11.5% conversion rate impact, 3% add to cart impact. You can also see how you're trading off between metrics. So maybe all of your campaigns are driving a great conversion impact, but hurting AOV, or maybe they're driving a great impact on AOV, but they're hurting add to cart rate. So you can really start to compare and contrast your metrics and focus on which metrics are most important to you. You can also see a real-time calculation of your ROI in your dashboard, which is just a really helpful way for continuing to fight for budget approval within your company and make sure that you're constantly understanding the impact of this technology on your website. With each of these, you can also dive in on an individual campaign level, or you can look at your data on a group level. So for example, if you wanted to group all of your shipping campaigns into a group, you could look at that data specifically. If you wanted to group all of your campaigns around new customers or even loyal customers, you could look at all of that data in separate groups to really be able to slice and dice your data and understand it better. You could also even separate your campaigns based off like promos. So if you wanted to put all of your promos associated with a Black Friday campaign or an Earth Day campaign, you could look at all of those campaigns together in one group and understand the impact on things like conversion rate, add to cart rate, AOV, all the above. On an individual campaign level, you can understand how, for example, the test performed against the control group. When a site visitor comes onto your site, we will randomly select them for group A or group B based off their Shopify session ID. That site visitor will remain in either group A or group B through the entirety of their session. So if you're running a bunch of different A/B tests at once, that site visitor is always going to be in the same group across all of your A/B tests. So for example, if I come to your site and I land in group A, I will be in group A across all of your A/B tests that you're running. Then from there, what you're doing is you're tracking all of the things that those site visitors are doing across your site. So I'm land in group A, you land in group B. You're going to be tracking all of my add to carts, my orders, the size of my order, and every single action that I'm taking on site. Same thing for you. So if I'm group A, you're group B, you can actually compare these metrics back to back to be able to say, what was the impact on each of these metrics, add to cart rate, conversion rate, AOV, and where was the trade-off on some of the metrics that you might have been optimizing for on the campaign. Some campaigns are going to be super conversion rate oriented. So let's say you're doing a promo where you really want to just try to get them to check out, or even like an urgency campaign around selling fast or low stock, or this one of our best sellers. But you might have some campaigns like, let's say, sizing and fit callouts on the product page that are really just geared towards decreasing customer support or decreasing returns. You might also have like upsells and cross sells that are really geared towards increasing AOV and not so much around conversion. And you might even just have some campaigns that are really just revenue grabs, especially if you're driving discounts and offers. So you can really look at all of your metrics and understand how you're driving them based off of your goals for the campaign. If you don't want to A/B test, you can certainly just publish any campaign live. This is the value of this whole no-code solution, is that you can quickly push campaigns live across your site, all without a developer. So let's say you just wanted to get a campaign live for a promo or for a review on your product page and you didn't really care to A/B test it. You can certainly just publish it live to 100% of your audience, take A/B testing out of the equation, and then you can look at it on an individual campaign level. You're not comparing this against a control group, but you could certainly compare this against any of your data inside of Shopify, compare it against a previous period, and even be able to understand your numbers on an individual audience level or individual page level. So as an example, if you see that one campaign has a 0.42% conversion rate and the next campaign has a 2.1% conversion rate, this is actually examples from the exact same Shopify store. You can start to understand, like, this one was around one specific product collection. That product collection doesn't look like it's converting as well. It's about a quarter of the conversion rate of the other product collection. So being able to understand conversion rate on different pages of your site from different parts of your funnel. You can also look at it on audience levels. So you could look at your conversion rate on your loyal Klaviyo segment. You want to understand how your like loyalty line users or your Yotpo users are converting. Maybe they're converting at 3% and everyone else is converting at 1%. So there's other cool ways of comparing the data, even if you are not using A/B testing. Case studies. So here are a few examples of brands who have been successful with Because and their results. Most of these are based off A/B testing data, but some of these you're also just looking on a campaign level. So I'm just going to run through some of the examples here with some of the notable brands that are using Because and some of the results that they're seeing. So Echelon is a fitness company that sells bikes and also has a digital fitness program. You are likely familiar with them. They're a big Peloton competitor. They saw an 18x ROI on just one campaign and a 45% conversion lift across all of their campaigns. This was definitely one of our highest performing merchants with over a 45% increase, obviously super high. You can see some of the individual impact on their campaigns here. Over 128% conversion lift on the first campaign, 29% conversion lift on the second. You can also see it on a point lift level. So if you wanted to look at the actual conversion rate point increase, you can see one was about 0.5%. The second one was about 0.25%. The next example is Sanrio. So this is the parent company behind Hello Kitty and all of the character friends that you might most likely are familiar with. I think literally everyone knows Hello Kitty. They had a 10x ROI on one of their campaigns, almost a 10% conversion lift. And you can see all of the individual impacts across their campaigns here. They ran some awesome campaigns around low stock and badging across their collection pages, even testing out different placements of close to free shipping messages in their cart. They were able to implement all of this without a developer. The next example is the Adventure Challenge. I'm sure you've received one of their ads before. They're the company that sells the date books where you scratch off the book and you can get a free date that will basically be for you and your partner to go have some fun. This is an awesome brand that was able to really take away the time that was needed from their developers and was able to really implement these campaigns across their site. They saw 14x ROI from one campaign, almost an 8% conversion lift. These were across different promos like Christmas in July, being able to embed that messaging in their cart, dynamic shipping around telling the site visitor when they've unlocked free shipping right on their product page. And they were able to see an awesome impact from that. The next example is Medicate. This is a beauty and cosmetics company that sells products like retinol. They're all about being scientifically backed, really catering towards an audience that cares about the more scientific approach to skincare. They saw an 11x ROI from one campaign, almost a 10% conversion lift, doing tons of different badging across their collection page for things like bestseller, and tons of different call outs on their product page around unique selling points, especially since their products are a bit more technical. They require more product education. They have more of that scientific backing and a lot of social proof. We were able to test different reviews and testimonials around how their products actually work. The last example is Everybody World. This is an apparel and fashion brand, both in the US and Australia. They sell to audiences literally all over the world. They use a ton of geolocation targeting inside of Because to show appropriate messaging to different audiences based off their country. And they also do tons of call outs around sustainability. They are a majorly sustainable brand that uses a lot of recycled materials in their products. They wanted to test out different messaging around their sustainability brand and really be able to understand how that's impacting conversion rate. This first message around sustainability drove a 54% conversion increase. Clearly, their audience resonates with sustainability. It also did tons of shipping messaging across site around things like the geolocation targeting, making sure that the different thresholds were correct for the associated country. Now for an overview of our pricing and our trial experience. You can find our pricing on our website, which is linked here. I'll have the document in the notes of the video. And also I'll take you through some of the overview of pricing in this video. All of our plans include a free 14-day trial, and all of our plans include all features both on the trial and after the trial. So we don't do any feature-based pricing. We keep it super simple so that you have access to everything you need access to on every plan. Our higher plans include a dedicated customer success manager if that is something that you think would be helpful for you to really meet with them every month and make sure that you are getting the support you needed to get the most out of the platform. We do provide easy auto upgrading and auto downgrading between plans to protect you during slower months and make sure that your campaigns don't stop showing during higher months. So our pricing ranges from $99 a month up to $999 a month. And it's really based off of the number of orders that you have per month. So starting at 1,000 orders per month, all the way up to 10,000, and additional plans if you are above 10,000 for $100 for every 5,000 orders over 10,000 orders. As you're moving through the year, if your number of orders is fluctuating, you will get auto upgraded and auto downgraded so that your campaigns don't stop showing. This is also great because it protects you during slower months, especially if you're more of a seasonal business. You will auto downgrade to the lower plan, so that way you're not, getting auto upgraded in Black Friday month and then you're stuck on that plan for the next couple months. So really great options there to kind of be flexible with you as you're growing. This also really just allows us to support a broad range of stores across different size stores, different revenue ranges that want to be able to grow with us and really take advantage of all of the features. We do not limit based off of site traffic, based off number of campaigns, based off number of views of campaigns, or any other usage limits. Really the only thing that we're being measured on here is the number of orders that you have per month as a store. If you would prefer to lock in your price, maybe this gives you anxiety, the concept of your price fluctuating throughout the year, you can certainly work with our sales team to commit to a 12-month contract with different payment terms available in order to get to a price that feels more comfortable to you, especially if you are a more seasonal business and you're maybe currently in a high month, or if you feel like you're going to have massive growth over the next year and you want to lock in a lower price. So tons of options there on that front. We do also offer a free onboarding call for our $249 a month plan and our $4.99 a month plan, so the Launch and the Pro here, to help you out with any questions you might have while getting set up. You'll get connected into a customer success manager to really just set you up for success on all the use cases and training of the platform. We do also offer a fully managed 14-day trial for these higher plans, so anything above $749 a month. That really just gets you a fully managed trial. We fully onboard you. We help set up your campaigns for you. We help you with your strategy, and we put together a full ROI report at the end. Regardless of which plan you're on, though, whether it's the 99 or whether it's the 999, you are going to have access to, again, all of those features, which includes A/B testing. So you can actually use A/B testing to prove out the impact of the platform on your own, even if our team is not involved in doing it for you. Inside of your A/B testing dashboard and your analytics dashboard, you're going to have access to a pre-calculated ROI metric, which will be calculated automatically for you in your dashboard. That way, again, you don't have to get our team involved in order to prove the impact and make sure that you can get budget approval. Our team is amazing. I'm biased, but I do think our team is amazing and is always here to help you. We even have some team members that were previously customers of Because that decided to come over and join us. So this is our team, just to kind of get a little bit of a sense of who's actually behind the scenes. We do offer chat support, so we have our team behind the scenes able to help you 9 to 5 Eastern, Monday to Friday. So tons of options, even if you are going more of the self-service option, and a fully robust help center that can help you get started. Okay, so maybe you're ready to go ahead and get started and test out your 14-day trial. I'm going to walk you through some of the steps to how to actually implement Because, and then how to get started with your first campaign. I'm going to start with the basics here, and then there'll be tons of other videos you can check out on our YouTube channel and our Help Center to really go through more of the specifics. So Because it's super easy to implement, you don't have to add a snippet of code to your site. It all gets automatically added when you install inside of Shopify. Where you can start is by going into the Shopify App Store. You can either search Because, or you can access this via our website. It's just apps.shopify.com/because, and you'll click Add App. Once you go through that process, you are going to go through a little onboarding flow to kind of get you into the app. There are also a ton of resources if you're feeling intimidated when you're getting started. You can check out our Help Center, which is linked in this document, which will also be linked in the video notes, that has a ton of live site walkthroughs of actually seeing how different merchants are using the platform. You can also get a bunch of FAQs answered inside of the Help Center. We do also have an inspiration deck that is linked inside of this document as well, which has probably hundreds of examples of how merchants are using Because, so you can get inspired. And finally, we do have Discover in-app as well, which is a great option to explore campaigns. So this is our Help Center, really easy to navigate. This is an example from that inspiration presentation and deck where you can get all of the different examples. And then finally, we have Discover inside of our app. This is very similar to Canva, if you've ever used it, where you can go in and you can find templates and get started with those templates as inspiration. You can search a bunch of different categories on the right here, whether it's urgency or reviews or promotions or more Klaviyo type campaigns. You can use all of that to really get started with the platform easily. It has pre-written copy if you don't want to have to write the copy yourself. So as you move through Discover, that will really give you an opportunity to kind of get started if you don't want to start from scratch. We have a couple of different categories that most merchants tend to start with, and that is promotions and offers, which has a ton of different examples here. You can also get started with customer lifecycle campaigns, so things like welcome, abandoned cart, and win back, or even using quiz data to personalize your site, and then all of our merchandising, so being able to do reviews, badges, cross-sells, urgency, all of the above. To set up a campaign, you can start with our easy 3-step creation flow process. You can start by editing the messaging and design in our editor. So when you first get into your dashboard, you're just going to click the Create a Campaign button. That's going to drop you into the editor. The editor is going to start from a blank state. This is an example of Chomps where they already have a campaign built out, but you're going to start from a blank state here where you can choose what type of campaign you want to create, whether it's a banner, whether it's a badge, a top bar, an image, and it will then prompt you to edit the associated sections with that content type that you're working on. So this one is a product page campaign. It's a banner, and you can see the position is set for below the add to cart button. You can always edit the position to move it around different parts of your page, and you can also go into all of the additional sections around things like text, icon, and container to edit the more advanced stylings of your campaign. So as you're going through the editor experience, you will notice that we automatically inherit this styling from your site. What's really nice about that is that your designer won't get mad if you have one, because we're automatically inheriting the sizes, fonts, colors, and padding associated with your site to really make it look first party. You can always override those settings in the advanced settings inside of the editor, which are super easy and again, do not require a developer to get involved to change anything that you'd like visually, but kind of just nice that it looks box without having to do anything extra. We do also load everything after the page loads in an asynchronous script that takes between 200 and 400 milliseconds, so we don't have any impact on site speed. That's another thing that would be great for not making your developer mad. So as you move through the editor experience, you can use our editor as a full rich text editor, just like you're editing an email or a Google Doc. You can change the bold, italic, underline. You can add hyperlinks. You can change padding, margins, alignment, every single aspect of your campaign. We do also have an option for custom CSS if your developer does want to get involved, but again, not required. After you set your design, you can preview it on your site using our preview experience. So you can see this little button in the bottom right-hand corner. What this does is it basically prompts you to add in a URL from your site and be able to preview it on your site. So let's say, for example, we wanted to preview this campaign. You click that preview campaign in the bottom right-hand corner, and that's going to prompt you with this little modal here. You can copy and paste a URL from your site of where you would like to see the campaign. So let's say this is a campaign that's supposed to show on any page of your site. You could just do any URL from your site. If it's a campaign that's supposed to show on your product page, maybe put the URL from the product page that you'd like to see it on. Preview will override any rules or targeting, so it's going to force it to show on the page regardless of any rules, just to kind of show you the visual design, make sure it looks good. Those preview links are active and shareable, so you could share it with your team, make sure your designer doesn't hate it, and you can also like text it or Slack it to yourself to make sure that it looks good on mobile. All of our content does automatically adapt to your styling on your site, which means it will automatically adapt on mobile as well. But of course, if you want to double check how things are shaken up on mobile, you can take a look through that preview experience. This is an example of our preview experience. So this black bar at the top, this is just a because top bar, and this is being embedded into the page in a preview experience. So it's not live, it's just a good way to look at it in order to make sure it looks good. And as you'll see in the URL at the top here, we're adding a little query parameter for the preview state, which is essentially just forcing the campaign onto the page, again, overriding any rules or settings. If you are making updates in the editor, let's say you change this bar from black to blue, all you have to do is just save it in the editor and then refresh this link, and you're going to be able to see the changes live. So that way, again, you can make sure it all looks good before you go ahead and publish. You can even interact with how like dynamic text tokens will change. So just like if you are adding a token for like hi first name in an email, you can add dynamic text tokens into any of your campaigns. This one is using a dynamic token for the dollar amount that the site visitor has left to get to free shipping. So this one's going to actually use the dollar amount that's inside of your cart to calculate how much is left for free shipping. This is a cool way of, again, making sure that your tokens are working correctly in the real version of your site before you actually go ahead and publish. Preview links can be shared out, so super helpful for making sure the whole team is on board. And the next step is to get into the rules engine. Our rules engine is the second part of that creation flow. Inside the rules engine, you can set all different types of rules across your product data, across your site visitor data like UTM parameters or geolocation, your Klaviyo or ESP data for things like Klaviyo segments, campaigns, and flows, and then also all of your cart data around dollar value and what's in your cart. All of those examples were reviewed in a previous video, so take a look at all of that. But what you can do here is you can either start with simple rules, like for example, checking off a specific product. I want this to show on the jalapeno beef product, or you can get more advanced and you can start to combine rules together. So you could combine site visitor rules, Klaviyo rules, product rules. You can intercombine as many of these as you'd like. You can change the operator in between from an and to an or, and then you can also change the operator in between the rules themselves. So you can add multiple tags or multiple collections and say to show on any of them or all of them. So tons of different options on how you set up your rules. Can certainly twist your brain into a little bit of a pretzel setting some of these up. The last step is to finalize those rules and then go into scheduling if applicable. So if you are looking to push your campaign live at a certain point, but you don't want to have to log back in to publish it, this is a really great option for something that's related to a promo or a holiday. You can add scheduling rules here on the left that have a start date and an end date and a start time and an end time. This is a really great option during the holidays. So you can see this one was 12 deals of Tom Brady's brand TB12, 12 different days of deals, wanted to really allow those campaigns to start and stop throughout the 12 days, make sure that they were all time sensitive and that no one had to wake up in the middle of the night or go on the weekend in order to get it done. The next example is of a flash sale. This was on Sanrio's Hello Kitty flash sale, 25% off select styles. So just setting all the rules of which styles are 25% off and then running this campaign. It looks like it ran for about 24 hours. So tons of good options there on scheduling. So that's a little bit of an overview of some of the key parts of pushing the campaign live. For further training on the platform, you can check out our YouTube channel and our Help Center. Our YouTube channel is just at Try Because, and our Help Center I mentioned above. If you would like to find time on our calendar to ask any more questions about the platform, or if you are ready to get started in your 14-day trial, you can do so on our website. We have a massive yellow button pretty much all over the website that says book a demo. And that is essentially linked into our calendar so you can get some time with us. We are so looking forward to meeting you, and we appreciate you watching this video.